guys, this is Ashley with Babywearing International of Knoxville, and today I'm going to show you how to do a newborn in a ring sling. And I'm going to also share with you some tips just for wearing a ring sling in general. But especially a newborn, because I think a ring sling is really nice for a newborn, and I'm going to show you how to nurse in it as well. So this is my ring sling unthreaded. I'm going to show you how to thread it. You don't have to thread it every single time that you use it, but I'm also going to show you how to kind of make sure that it's nice and gathered every time that you use it. Basically what you do is you take your free end, your tail, make sure it's not twisted, pull it through the rings like that, and then you're going to open up your rings and slide this opposite side through like so. Now it's very important every time that you before you put your sling on to make sure that this is evenly spread out. So I make sure that I have the right rails, that it's not twisted. Even pulling it through, it got kind of overlapped. So I have my little red side right here and my red side right here. It helps to have different colored rails. But and then what I do is just gather it in my hand, pulling it evenly across. And then pull it through, and you can see it's evenly gathered and spread across the rings. Now as you're tightening and loosening, it may get overlapped again, and that's why it's really important to re-spread it before you put it on every single time. Alright, so now I'm going to put my sling on, and you're going to put it on like a sash.
Hi baby, did you run
depending
outside?
on what side you want to have your rings on. It just depends on what's most comfortable for you. Now since he's a little itty bitty baby, I'm going to tighten up my bottom rail so it's almost completely snug to my body. And when I pull on my fabric on my rings, I want to pull in a fan shape. So this far side I want to pull out this way, this inner side I want to pull up this way, and then kind of everything in between. And that keeps it just from overlapping. If the fabric gets overlapped, it's going to be impossible for you to tighten up. So make sure that you pull in the direction of the fabric. Alright, so this bottom rail is pretty much snug to my body. That way when I put him in, he's basically going to just drop right into that spot and have a seat made already. Now, I don't want to have a lot of slack to have to tighten up, because what happens is it ends up pulling my rings down farther. It's just more to mess with. So I want to try to get out as much slack as possible before I put him in. Now, a good trick is to stick your arm in here. For a little baby, you want to kind of stick your arm closer to your body. If you have a bigger baby, you can give a little bit more space with your elbow so you know how much room you need. Once you're kind of used to doing it, you'll probably be able to feel what feels right for you, but he's a little guy. So I want it pretty snug. I want just enough room in the top to be able to pop him in there. Alright. And then I like to have my rings a little bit higher on my shoulder. I don't want them too high. Since I've already tightened it up a lot, they won't move too much, but when I pull all the slack out, it will bring the rings down a little bit more. So I don't want them to be too low. Okay, now I'm going to grab him up. Zion is 1 week old. Okay. And what I'm going to do is put him up in a Burt position on my shoulder, nice and high. And I like to reach my opposite hand through the fabric panel right here so that I can guide his feet in and his bottom in, and then I feel like I have a good hold on him. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to be pulling up the fabric on his back. It is recommended to do their legs out from birth, so I'm going to show you that. If you feel like it's not comfortable, you can definitely tuck their legs in. I wouldn't do it beyond the first couple of weeks. A lot of people keep their baby's legs tucked in way too long, and it puts a lot of strain on their hips and their ankles, and I just think it's generally pretty uncomfortable. He's really balled up still, so if you were going to put them in this way, you would really want to tuck up that inside panel of fabric so he's got a little pouch. But he is perfectly fine doing legs out right now, so I'm going to show you that. That's the recommendation, is to do their legs out from birth. Grab his little feet out. Okay. So since I already tightened up that bottom rail, it's just going to kind of catch underneath his little bottom. I want to make sure that that fabric is underneath him really well. And you can pull out a little bit more slack, just to be safe. You want to make sure it's catching underneath both of his knees. Turn you this way, little man. Okay. Now you can see it's pretty well tightened across his back because I did all that pre-tightening. All I need to do is just tighten up that top rail a little bit more to support the back of his head. There we go. And you can see my rings are sitting in the right position on my body. They're not too high, they're not too low, but in a tummy to tummy, they're really close to him. If you feel like it's bothering him or bothering you, you can wrap your tail around your rings. It just creates a little cushion so that baby's head isn't knocking into those metal rings. And you can see he's got a nice seat. His little knees are well supported. There's plenty of fabric underneath him. He's not to the point where he could straighten his legs out yet. That's something that you want to watch for when they get a little bit bigger. In that case, you would want to pull up more fabric in between the two of you. But with a little baby, they stay nice and still.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, are you jumping in my video? Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to nurse, because a lot of people ask about nursing a newborn in a ring sling or in any carrier. My recommendation, if you want to nurse in a carrier, especially a newborn, is a ring sling because it's really easy. From this position, tummy to tummy, I'm just going to lift up on this outside ring to loosen it just a little bit. I'm going to bring his feet over to the side, keeping him tummy to tummy with me and making sure that that fabric is staying in between us. So this is what we would call a cradle carry. Cradle carry is really not recommended unless you're going to be nursing them, and then only for a short period of time. So he's at my breast, he's at the perfect position. This top rail is supporting his neck, and then I want to make sure that all of this fabric right here is tightened up to support across his back. And I actually could pretty much nurse him unsupported. Another little trick is to take a burp rag. Let me grab one really fast. You can take a burp rag or like a cloth diaper. And kind of roll it up. Tuck it into that top rail. Kind of roll it up to support his neck. And then you pretty much could nurse completely hands-free. If you needed to get him a little lower, you could kind of drop him down a little bit. But it's really important to make sure that all of this fabric is spread across his back. He's happily snoozing. Alright, so if he was done nursing, it would be really important to bring him back up to tummy to tummy. I don't want to keep him in a cradle hold. And what I'm going to do is just kind of lift his body back up to here. Shift his legs back over. There we go. Shh, 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 shh. Tighten everything back up. If you liked that neck roll, you could definitely leave that in there just to support the back of his head, even if you weren't using it to nurse. Alright, that's how to wear a newborn in a ring sling, and also how to nurse in a ring sling. I hope that was helpful to all of you. It's definitely a really easy, as long as you know how to use it properly, beginner carrier, and perfect for a little baby. So, hope you enjoy your ring sling, and thank you for watching.